Chappelle, Flick Palmatier, and Vaughn Blakey. Vaughn, we just saw a classic come to a close, and people are trying to will an all-Pupo final. Well, we still got a chance. Miggy's into the semifinals.
Yeah, he's looking so strong, been very impressive throughout this event. I think on the day one, when we very first saw him, he put up one of the biggest scores of the day, and he's just managed to keep that momentum rolling. And on the other side of the draw, Sammy's getting about his business. He's growing in strength and speed, and he just looks more and more at home with every heat. So, yeah, it wouldn't be a surprise, would it, to see these two brothers go at it?
And, I mean, how will Sammy handle Medina and just the aura, the energy of someone he's looked up to his whole life?
Oh, it's a massive heat, and it is a really big hurdle because Medina, what we saw yesterday from him, we saw that clash of the Titans heat, Idolo and Gabe, and it was incredible, right? Those two sparring and going at it. But for me, I was like, whoa, Medina is back and he hasn't gone anywhere. That power is just so evident to me. So it's going to be a big task for Sammy. But one thing, Medina has power. I think Sammy really has speed. So it's going to be a cool matchup. And I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing that one go down this afternoon.
Got to give you props again, Vaughn, for the work you did with Sketchy, the Rip Curl movie. And I can't stop thinking about the parts, especially now that a lot of the characters in your movie are doing really well in this contest, like Molly Picklum. I enjoyed your chat with her in the post-heat interview in the rain under the DHT.
Oh, mate.
But I was right there with you. She's got this calm confidence about her this year.
Yeah, she's really just inhabited the World Champ energy, and she's using it rather than feeling buried by it like he has when she's turned up to previous Bells events. She's had the gold jersey on before, and it's almost been too much. You know, the attention of the media, it's like, is this our next great world title hope? Well, she's got that job done, and now she's turning up, and she said it herself, you know, she feels comfortable. She's owning that space, and that's what world champs do, you know. Like, it's a different thing to just have the gold jersey to being a world champion. You all of a sudden, you know that you are the person, and you can kind of own anything that comes your way and comes with that sort of title. But so impressive, man. Getting to film Sketchy, hang out with her. I was just blown away by how little the world title has actually changed her as a person. She is exactly the same grommet I met, you know, when she was 14 years old in the junior comps around Australia. So, so proud of her, as the whole country is. And I think as an ambassador for just women's surfing, what she's done in heavy water is something that everyone celebrates with good reason.
I want to get your opinion on her form, Flick, as she had Lakey Peterson today in the quarterfinals, quarter three. These two, you know, have worked with Micro in the past together. They've been sparring partners. They've had a final at J-Bay together, which Lakey won. How'd Molly look for you in this performance?
Yeah, I mean, Molly looks good. They're also really close friends, these two, as well. So they know everything about each other. You know when they're zigging, when they're zagging. You know how they perform. But Molly is just confident, right? And Vaughn, you spoke to it. I mean, but even in the post heat with you, Vaughn, she's like, I'm ready to ring a ding ding this thing, you know. And I think it's cool when she's just leaning into that. And yeah, the gold jersey definitely doesn't feel heavy. I think it's just, I mean, Molly just takes off, and yeah, I mean, she's oozing confidence at the moment. Obviously not an easy heat win against Lakey, because Lakey was in fine form yesterday. But yeah, it's hard out there today. Unfortunately, Lakey didn't find the waves to tee off. You know, it's represented in the heat totals. But yeah, Molly Picklum just, you know, world champ veteran, world champ status, finding the only great wave out there, the 783.
Yeah, it's, you know, she's always said it hasn't been the easiest event for her in the past. And like you brought up in the interview, there's been times she's carrying that #1 jersey into Australia, and then she's got F1 things to go to, media, TV shows, and she's like, I haven't even caught a wave on the bowl yet, you know, and she's had to manage all of that. But even in that heat, it's like she's breezing through it and getting some good advice from locals like Tully Wiley. She's in such a great headspace. I think the more heats she wins early, it's only going to be scarier for the rest of the tour to really challenge her this season on the championship tour, Vaughn.
Definitely. I see a lot of similarities in the way that Yago and Molly are sort of owning their world champion status. And yeah, the confidence is one thing, but they want the fight as well. Like, they're really enjoying the combat. And we heard Molly say in that post-heat interview as well, Jay, you know, I'm spewing that Lakey didn't get a few more waves so that we could really go at each other. And you know, that's why champions are champions, because they're not fearing anything. They just want to get into that heat of battle.
That's right. Speaking of heat of battle, Boost Mobile Heat of the Day was one that carried some Bells titles, a world title from Caity Simmers. Isabella with the goal of going back-to-back. And She took out Carissa Moore, which was a massive feat, and with a lot of the old giants out of the event, Caity was kind of the one to beat in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, she was 100%. And I just go back to the different lines. I mean, it's so evident here on this wave. One of the opening waves here, I think it was like, okay, Caity's on, and it was kind of swinging towards more Caity's favour towards the beginning of this heat, but Isabella just so composed here. And yeah, I mean, for me, with her, I mean, her boards look really dialed. I feel that she's just drawing really smooth lines. And yeah, look, this was also a crazy matchup. Obviously, they've both rang that bell. Caity fought back with this moment here, and then right behind her, Isabella probably knows she needed a score at this point and actually turned in what was the highest wave of the heat. So, never saying die, and that's real champ status right there.
Yeah, I was sitting with Owen Wright watching this heat, and he was so impressed with just how staunchy Nichols was in her decision-making. That's twice in a row now where she's just backed her strategy, and when the waves have come, she's thuggish. Like, she goes at it really, in a brutal manner, and she utilised her power, which she had to do over Caity. That was the point of difference. Caity looked so fast and speedy, but it was Nichols' power that was the difference in that.
Isabella Nichols is dial-a-bomb. She doesn't waver off the game plan of owning the lineup. And it's one of those skill sets that can get overlooked when you're just watching ripping and highlight videos. It's your relationship with the ocean, knowing where to sit and living and dying by that, and knowing that she can trust her instincts on picking the right wave. Even the heat with wrist, she did that, and also did that against Caity. And that leads us into the Hydrolate Heat to watch. Isabella Nichols, can she keep this alive against the reigning world champ Molly Picklum?
Oh, well, she has something that Molly Picklum doesn't have, and that's she has rang that bell. So, I mean, she has got that up on her. However, this is going to be, I mean, it is essentially a clash of the Titans on the women's side, really. Two Aussie these girls are battlers, right? And they absolutely, they're going to give it to each other because they've grown up surfing against each other. This isn't their first rodeo. They've competed against each other since they were, in their teens, pro junior days. Now, qualifying series, Challenger series, World Tour. There's a lot of history there. And I know Bella seems to be running with the momentum from last year. It's really clear to me. But then Molly Picklum is just so confident. So look, get the popcorn out is all I'll say.
Right. It's going to be a good opportunity for Molly. She's been watching Isabella, what she's been doing to win and how she could disrupt that role. But Bella's thinking the same thing. That's going to be a great Hydrolate Heat to watch, which leads us to our Mophie power move contender. When you think of power, who do you think of? Gabby Bryan throwing down an excellent score earlier today, Vano.
Yeah, Gabby is looking so on point. She actually made mention of the fact that she's never really connected or had a great love affair with Winkipop. She felt like, she was always coming down here with one eye on the Bell's Bowl, and rightfully so. But Kale has been working with her very closely to get her in sync with this wave, and this was the wave that really said to me, okay, she's clicked over here. This is a wave that she fully connects with now, and yeah, for that power move, there was no doubt about it. That was a really strong score for a really strong turn.
We've watched Cale Bell-Warren and his mood during heats. He's coached for so many years down here. She got that wave, and he just sat down. He's like, all right, I think we're good.
Yeah.
It was just like everything went to plan.
Mate, I was sitting right there when that wave came through, and, I heard Richie Lovick talking about the noise a board makes when it hits the lip. Gabby's got that. But the other noise that was audible was a giant sigh of relief from Rochelle. She was just going, oh my goodness. It's not about celebration for the mums and dads who come down here. It is full relief when they see, their loved ones get the job done. So that was cool.
So cool. Gabby Bryan still looking for her first bell, and as is a Brazilian veteran who just made his way up the stairs, Miguel Pupo, into the semifinals at this event for the first time. He's with Jesse Starling.
Miggy, a big congratulations is in order. You've just made your first semi-finals ever in your championship tour career. That is such a huge moment. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it took me a few years to make a heat down here at Winky, and finally made two, so pretty happy. I think the first event of the year is the hardest. Everyone's so ready, so prepared, so as am I. So yeah, happy to be in the semis and have a good board. I'm feeling good the whole week, so let's do it.
Keeping it alive for the goofs as well. Obviously, it's not traditional bells and Winky. It's a little small and slow, but you just still feel like you're in this new flow state where you're just flying, really.
Yeah, that's my goal, you know. I was trying to keep busy because I knew the tide's coming up and the waves are going to be slow, so I was trying to stay busy. And luckily, I got the second wave at the side, which was really good. Got a 7 on it, and yeah, after that, there was no wave, so I'm pretty happy with the result already.
And let's just paint the picture. Let's imagine for a second semi-final, or final actually, because you and your brother are on opposite sides of the draw. What would it mean to have a final with your brother here at Bells if all goes to plan?
Oh, it would be great, you know. He has a really hard heat, you know, against Gabriel, 3 times world champ. But Sammy's been surfing really well, surfing good on the rail, which is nice too. And I feel he doesn't need to do the airs to get the big scores, and that's really good for him. And I just told him, go, you know, that's all you got to do. And hopefully he look up to me and try to do the same.
We love it, Miggy. I know you're really cold, so we'll let you go, but congratulations. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much, Jesse. Miguel Pupo thrilled to be moving on for the first time in his career in the semifinals. As we check out finals bracket, Pupo waiting for his competitor. Will it be Kanoa Garashi or Griffin Colapinto? That is a heated one. And reigning world champ Yago Dora has a feisty Italian Leonardo Fioravanti, who just took out Toledo yesterday. Medina, Sammy Pupo at the bottom end of the draw. Vaughn, you've been running around this entire area asking for people's picks on who's going to ring the bell. What are you seeing out of this finals bracket draw?
It is so hard to pick because even, you know, the quarters we have left are just coin tosses. It's like everyone here has been on. Everyone has moments that, you know, when you get to the end of the comp and you see that person ringing the bell, you'll be like, oh, well, yeah, of course. You think back about their performances throughout the event, you're like, yeah, that's a rightful winner. They all have that moment. For me, personally, I was thinking about this morning, and I just love the story of Miguel Pupo. Like, this guy's been a journeyman. He's got a CT win under his belt. He gets better every year, and he looks like the guy, really, who has found some really beautiful form.
I love that. And the bottom end of the draw, his brother's there, but his brother's dealing with one of the all-time greats, 3-time world champion Gabriel Medina, making his full-time return to the championship tour. This guy was able to sit down for a heartfelt interview and talk about his pure love for surfing, reflect on his passion for competing in front of fans, and discussing this life-changing journey that has led him to secure 3 world titles.
When I first discovered my love for surfing was when I went surfing with my best friend. I just like the vibe, you know, all my friends playing, surfing, doing fun stuff. So, I don't know, I just fell in love. I wanted to do that every day. Surfing is my meditation every day. It's where I think about my life. It doesn't matter how big the problem is sometimes, but it feels like everything is in control when you're out there, you know?
Gabriel Medina is going nuts. He's pumping through this thing. Are you kidding?
I think we are more in present when you're out there. So every time that I go to surf or I'm in a heat, you don't think about much, you know, you just enjoy the moment there. You're present, you know, so it's just a peaceful place. Yeah, I love my friends. It's good to have good friends. I mean, I like to share moments with my friends, with my family, and yeah, sharing is love, so I love them.
Winding up another one here, look at a backdoor. This is a big wave, he's locked in, he should come through this one. Here he comes. Oh my Medina, God. The hands go up.
It's good to find something that you like to do as work, so we don't need to work every day, you know. And surfing is like that for me.
We give you the 2014 World Champion, Gabriel Medina.
I feel blessed to be where I am today, you know. Yeah, surfing changed my life, you know, my family's life, even few friends, so yeah, I feel blessed.
Gabriel Medina, your 2018 World Champion.
I put a lot of work. I had my dedication for the sport, and just with a goal in my mind, you know. I wanted to be a world champion. I wanted to change my life. I know I was just a kid and with a lot of dreams, you know.
Medina looks like he's got a gigantic round.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It is official. Gabriel Medina, now 3-time world champion.
When you start, you don't think you're gonna get there, you know, until you get there. You just need to have the faith and work every day. And I was really blessed because I got there with a small age, you know. Everything happened really fast in my life. So yeah, after winning my title, I wanted to keep going, you know. Yeah. Today I'm 3 times world champion, but a lot of ups and downs. It's about finding the balance, I think, you know, all these years, and it's a roller coaster, you know, so.
Gabriel Medina, tricampeão mundial de surf, local da Praia de Maresias, o surfista que mudou a história do surf brasileiro.
Yeah, I love to surf when there are a lot of fans on the beach. Yeah, I just like to perform good, you know, go big, and when I'm out there, I always try to get a 10 or something. Yeah, I try to go big. You try to show your best, but imagine if there's no one watching. I wouldn't get excited, you know. So it's different, the vibe, and you feel the love. You know, everyone like screaming your name and saying, you know, positive things. It's funny because it's something that I like to do and I have fun with it. But they get so happy that I'm doing what I love. You know, it's so weird, but it's a good feeling. You know, I know they're gonna get happy, so I try to do my best.
Now you've won Rottnest and Margaret River. Can we all finally say that we love each other? Aussie, Aussie, Aussie! Gabriel Medina, everyone!
I love being a professional surfer, yes. Yeah, people sometimes ask me, oh, if you were not a surfer, what would you be? And I have no idea.
How lucky are we that Gabriel Medina is back on tour, and not just back, just like he always is. He is so invested on winning every single heat that he's a part of, and we saw that energy yesterday against Italo Ferreira. I mean, for what he's accomplished on tour, he's responsible for making one of the greatest impacts on the sport of surfing. You know, when we're talking about 50 years of building this thing up, and he's right at the top of the list, Flick.
Oh, yeah. I just think, you know, I go back to a quote in that package was, every time I surf a heat, I'm trying to get a 10, right? And I'm going for that, which is, it's so true because every single moment and every event, you can always think, you know, to, you know, a crazy wave from him, or like a 10 here, or a perfect 10 at Chopes, or this crazy backhand full rotation that he did in Brazil or France or wherever it may have been over the last, you know, decade of surfing. And I just think he always brings us those really special moments. And, you know, during that time that he had off, we didn't see much surfing from him, like clips dropped online or things like that. Obviously, he was rehabbing the pec injury, but you kind of left asking where was that form, and is he going to return with that same form and still deliver those moments? Well, yesterday he did, big time, you know, against Italo, and it's just so cool to have him back on tour. He's so well-rounded in every condition, and yeah, I'm frothing.
That's right, going for 10s every time. He's got 18 in his career. That's unbelievable. For Vaughn, he mentioned the ups and downs. You know, he is one of the most loved superstars in like all of South America, let alone Brazil. Just his profile in general, and then getting used to being in the spotlight. He said he tripped out after his first world title. He was going through a toll road, and he's like, everyone knew who he was. They were causing traffic, and all of a sudden he's like, oh, my life has just changed. And that comes with ups and downs, and learning how to handle that as well.
Yeah, it does. And it took a little while for the love to spread outside of South America, because he just destroyed so many, so many of our heroes along the way on his journey. But watching that highlights package, you realise that it's the Rashi that brings out the best in Gabe Medina. You don't need to see a whole lot of free surfing. Like, he just pushes the envelope, he pushes the limits through the roof in every encounter. And man, I was tripping watching that. I just remembered where I was for so many of those waves and just going, oh my goodness, mind completely blown. And he's at a point in his career where globally, if you love surfing and you love competition, you love this guy. You're so grateful for him. We're so stoked he's back, because he does bring an element that forces the best out of every other competitor that he's got. If you're not bringing in your best, he will demoralise you. He'll punish you. He will absolutely leave you in the dust. And man, I just think he's the biggest, most bona fide rock star we've got. Like, we have a lot of great surfers on this tour, but no one has the swagger of Gabe Medina. He is, oh man, he's one of the all-time greats, and I'm so glad he's back, Jack.
How good is pro surfing, especially with Medina, a big part of it. Still waiting for his heat potentially later on this afternoon. Before we get there, though, it is time for the Bioglan Daily Dose. Coming in at number 5 on the list, this Brazilian vet, growing up as a rival to Medina when they were just little kids, has just turned in some magic at Winkipop, Lick.
Yeah, I got to the moment he had his first win first win down at Winky yesterday, and he's gone from strength to strength. And for me, it's adaptability, because we've had different conditions on hold. We've been from the bowl over to Winky now a couple of times, and yeah, Miggy's looking in fine form.
Number 4, Gabby Bryan's power is just unstoppable so far, Vono.
Unstoppable, and especially right here at Winky, where she's struggled in the past. This is her first semi-final in this event. I can't believe it, by making it through this heat. But it was all rail, and it was all the strengths that got her 3 CT wins last year that we saw on display here this morning, and she was stoked to get through that one.
Well done for Gabriella Bryan, number 3. It's our World Champ Molly Picklum taking out Lakey Peterson today.
Yeah, this was a slow heat, but you know what? World Champ, she found the best wave of the heat, the 7.8. There was one out there. Only pretty much one wave came through. Guess what? The World Champ found it. No surprises for me, really. You think about the form she was in, the other day here at Winky, now today. And tough moment for Lakes. She kind of didn't really find the moment to tee off.
Number 2 on the list, Alyssa Spencer found her first excellent numbers in her career on the CT at this event, Vaughn.
Momentum is everything. Coming off a huge win in the last event of the Challenger Series, she's ridden that form into the Rip Curl Pro. And look at the flow state this young athlete is in, teeing off on Winkipop walls to get the best result ever for her here.
And taking over the Bioglan Daily Dose, Isabella Nichols, looking sharp in her Bell's defense.
Oh, yeah. Really, this came down to the last exchange. Caity took off, she got a wave, Bella needed to fight back and really give this last wave everything she had. She dropped to 7 and ended up getting the win, and this was hard. She was up. Caity's a Bell's champ as well, so when you looked at those quarters, that one on paper was pretty much the one that was the one to watch. So yeah, hats off to Bella for keeping that second Bell potentially alive.
There we go.
And tell I was broken long before you see the monster inside doesn't wanna sleep. I paid deep, but I just don't go up. I paid deep, but here she comes again. I paid deep, but I just don't go up. She's out for blood. You won't catch me understated. All the killers underrated. I'm the future.
This copyrighted event broadcast is produced by the World Surf League for broadcast around the world and may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without the written consent of the World Surf League.